All right, I'd like to welcome you to the Meet the Need monthly user webinar. This month we are in April and our topic is international missions. Before we get started, I'd like to open us up in prayer and give some people some time to join us as well that may be arriving a little late, but prayer is always a good way to get started. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you so much for every leader on this call, Lord, and watching this webinar and those that will be watching in the future, Lord. I pray for continued guidance and wisdom and encouragement, Lord, in the ministry that you have called them to fulfill. And Lord, I pray for our time together, that there be clarity, that there be aha moments, Lord. But Lord, most of all, I pray that every word that is spoken, that is shared, every idea, Lord, is one that has come from you, and that hearts will be moved, eyes will be opened, wisdom will be gained, Lord, so that more people can be brought into your kingdom. Lord, it's in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, my name is Tanya Nichols. I am the Director of Member Services at Meet the Need, and we are going to dive into our presentation today, which the topic is international missions, and let's see what we have in store. All right, if you are watching this webinar and you have not registered with Meet the Need yet as an organization, it's very easy to do. You can go to our homepage, meettheneed.org, and click Quick Start, and then it's 4 easy steps, less than 10 minutes to get you access to your Meet the Need dashboard, which I'll be referring to quite often today through the webinar. But you can have access to your dashboard to begin posting needs, showing needs on your website, and using the full Meet the Need platform. So if you haven't registered, go ahead and do that. All right, well, let's dive into international missions, which is our topic for today. It probably won't take us the whole hour to go through international missions, so class may let out early, but let's see what we can. All right, with our international missions module, you are able to do several things. One, you can empower your trip leaders. I'm going to say like within your church, because it's usually churches that are doing missions, but you can empower your trip leaders. You can even advertise and promote for leadership. If you're looking for leadership to go on trips, you can post a need saying we need leaders for this. The leader you can then empower to post needs for people to go on the trip, for individuals, and even opportunities for maybe people who can't go on the trip but maybe want to give for that trip. Maybe you need Bibles or school supplies. Then you can post goods needs as well for those trips. So through trips, you can advertise for leadership, you can advertise for individuals to go on the trip, and you can advertise for items that you may need for that trip. Also, Meet the Need, you can support your missionaries. You may have a missionary over in South Africa that is there all year round, maybe running an orphanage, and they have things that they need throughout the year. You or they, depending on how you want to set up your account, either one of you can post those material needs to show on your website. Volunteers can be able to see which, what needs are needed for those different missionaries. And you can even see, you can track on the back end as an administrator what needs are being met for those missionaries, so you have a complete list of like an ongoing inventory of how those missionaries have been helped through your church and by your members. This is what it looks like on your dashboard. The International Missions module is down in the bottom right-hand corner. And this is where you will empower trip leaders to post needs for volunteers and goods under this Add Missions opportunity. And then right here where it says Add Missionary is where you would go to track your missionary needs and post those needs for your members to be able to see. Let's dive into posting missions needs. To post a missionary need, first thing you would do is go in under your sample church or your church dashboard. You would enter a missionary under where it says Add Missionary. When you add a missionary, you're going to get this form up here where you input the information in for the missionary and click Insert, and then you'll be able to post needs for that particular missionary to be seen on your website. I'll show you that posting a need form in just a moment. You can also post needs for your missions trips. typically what churches will do is they'll create a team for a particular trip, like maybe the Brazil missions trip team, underneath of their church dashboard. They would create that team and then go to that team dashboard and click Add Missions Opportunity, where you could then post goods or post volunteer needs for that particular trip, and then all the communications for that trip would go to that trip leader, because you would make them a key contact of that particular team, but not necessarily a key contact of the church as a whole. When you're posting a missions need, whether it be for a missionary or for a missions trip, you're going to get a drop-down list of the categories and subcategories to choose from. Now, our missions module, the whole reason why it's a different module is because we do have different categories and subcategories than we have in our local missions modules, because trips and missionary needs are different than what you need here locally. For instance, you can choose a category. You got goods and you've got volunteers. You can choose a volunteer category of medical, and then the subcategories of medical go pretty lengthy of all the different medical things that you could be posting for. So there's hundreds of different types of missions categories and subcategories. You would choose the one closest to what you're about to post, and then you would choose at the bottom the zip code and where you want your needs to show. I'm going to read this note here. It says, note, you post missions needs in the zip code where you want needs to be shown on websites, which is typically your city zip code and then a particular miles radius. If you're posting a need for a missionary in Brazil or for a trip to Brazil, don't change the country to Brazil and post, because it's not going to show on any of the websites in the U.S. So you want to post the need where you want the need to show on websites in that area. Here's the missions posting form, whether it's for a missionary need or a missions trip need, it's the same, but it gives you a place to put in the description of the need, how many volunteers, any resources or materials. This is where you'll put in there, that maybe they have to complete a training, or they have to complete an application or a background check, or there's a series of meetings leading up to the trip. This is where you would put the resources and materials, is where you would put that information. And you can even put links to other information or to other pieces or to other resources related to the trip. But all this information is included in all the reminders as well, so they will have that to be able to follow up on at any point in time. You can choose whether it's a one-time need, a recurring need, or an open-ended need, depending on the type of need you're posting, and choose your date and time. You'll want it to be active if you want it on websites, inactive if you don't want it anywhere. You could post a bunch of inactive needs, and then when you're ready to go live, go back in and make them all active. If you want this showing on other church websites in the area, then make it public. Otherwise, you'll just want to choose semi-private, and it'll only show on your website. So this posting form is the same form that we have on our local mission side, but the differences are in our categories and subcategories that I showed you on this screen that really drive what you're putting on the second page. Let's talk a little bit about missions reporting. We have the same reporting for our international missions module as we do for all of our other modules. If you go to international missions, view missions, needs, and reports, you're going to get a page like this that gives you a list of the different reports that you can see. You can get a list of your missionaries, which I'll show you in just a moment. You can look at your open and partially filled needs that you've posted, your filled needs, and your expired needs. These three reports are the same needs. It's just it moves them from one report to the next depending on where the need is in the process. If it's been completely filled, if you needed 5 volunteers and you've gotten all 5, it's going to be in the filled report. If the date has passed for the need by, it's going to be in the expired. Otherwise, it'll be in your open and partially filled. Then there's also individual reports where you can see who all has committed to a particular need, and we'll look at those reports here in just a second. All right, if I click missionaries and missions, what I'm going to get is a list of all the missionaries that have been entered in for, this is actually for Sample Church, but for your organization. So you can keep a list of all the missionaries that you help, and then you could click and go see the details of those missionaries and see what needs have been posted and which ones have been met, and even get the details of who all has met those needs. So it's great. Not only do you have reports on by the needs that you post and by the individuals that adopt them, but in the missions module you also have reporting based on the missionaries that you're helping, if you're the missionaries that you're helping across the world. This is the open, partially filled, and expired needs report where you can see the needs that you've posted. You can see how many people have committed to those needs in here. You can even click details of a particular one and see who all has signed up, and even email all of them if you need to give them further instructions, especially if you want to follow up and have them all complete a background check, or if you want to tell them that the meeting date of one of their trainings have changed. You can email your group of volunteers for a particular trip or missions need and communicate directly with those volunteers through Meet the Need. There's also the pending and completed commitments report where you can sort by keyword, by categories, by date, and report out and even export to Excel on the different missionary activities of your organization. For instance, you get a summary of all the volunteer hours and items that have been given related to missions. You can get a commitment report so you can see over time when are people committing to needs, and even get a pie chart that shows you what categories and subcategories your members are interested in so that you can get kind of a heartbeat on where your members are serving and how they're serving, so you can develop relationships with missionaries and missions trips to fulfill their passions and their skills. These are great reports for reporting up to leadership on your missionary activity. Sharing missions needs on your website. How do you integrate Meet the Need into your website and through social media? It's really easy. I mean, Meet the Need is all about how we or you can create a link that you would hyperlink to a button image on your website. It's as simple as copying and pasting. There's no software to download. There's no disk. I don't know if anybody has disk anymore. All of the software is plug and play. So you can show your volunteer needs within minutes and be able to share those. Links can be copied and pasted into social media posts and emails as well. So the same things that you're putting on your website, you can simply copy and paste and put into a post that says, hey, we're heading for a missions trip and we need Bibles. You know, click here to see how many we need and what you need to do with them. So they can be shared anywhere. All the links are created for you on your template looking like your website, your church's website or your ministry's website, and volunteers will not see Meet the Need, but instead they're going to see your church or your organization's website. Here are some examples of some churches that are showing needs on their website, missions needs on their website. Here you can see needs at our church, needs in the local area, and they have this button here, Needs for Missions. And when you click on that Needs for Missions is when you will see Meet the Need needs that they've posted for their missions trips. I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Here's another website. They got a local button, a global button, and a Serve at the Church button. Kind of similar to the one we saw before, but a little different. Their global opportunities, what they did was they created a landing page that shows a button for their missions trips. I think if I click on that, I'll get a button for like Brazil and Haiti and Bahamas, and people can click on the different trips and see what the needs are that the church has posted through their Meet the Need dashboard. Here's another church, local, national, international, and Serve at the Park Church. If I click on international opportunities, it takes me to see all the needs that this particular church has posted for their missions trips and their missionaries. Here's another one. They're all very similar, just different images. Serve at the church, serve in the community, serve worldwide. And that worldwide, they had a list of the different trips, and you could click on any one of these trips and be able to see the details and commit to go on that trip or to bring goods for that trip. Here's one. It's World Outreach and Local Outreach. When you clicked World Outreach, they had images for each project or each short-term trip, and you could click on those trips and actually commit to going or at least commit to getting information. And then as with all of our needs and Meet the Need, you know, we're not here to replace the relationship, because we understand that missions trips, you need a lot of touches leading up to that trip and training and connection with the team. And so Meet the Need, we're here to help you advertise those needs within your website and even amongst other websites and social media. And then, of course, the trip leader will get an email saying that, you know, Tanya Nichols has just signed up to be a part of your trip. And, of course, the trip leader at that time would then contact me, make sure I got my background check, came to the first meeting, and did the due diligence. Maybe it's an interview. We're not here to replace that relationship that you would have with a potential volunteer. We're just here to make that connection a lot more efficient and effective to get them where they need to go on their next steps to fulfill where God's called them to go and serve. Searching missions needs. When you click on those links, like we just showed you on all the other sites where you click global missions or click a particular trip, what you're going to get is a search page that looks like this, your members are, with a list of needs that they can go in and see just the missions needs and be able to connect. Now, coming soon, in just a few weeks, we will have a new search page, and the format of that new search page is something like this down here at the bottom, where instead of a top-to-bottom search, you search on the left, and then you see results on the right, and this makes it a lot more smartphone, mobile phone friendly. So it'll be the same information, it's just going to look a little different. But it's very easy for members or volunteers to be able to go and click on a need, get details of that need, say I'm interested, and then get reminder emails, and the team leader be able to connect with them for more information. Here's some missions frequently asked questions. It says, how much does the national and international missions system cost? Just like with all of Meet the Need, all of our modules, there are no required fees. Our mission is to see the church and organizations, nonprofits doing more to bring help and hope to families in need. So we offer you all of our state-of-the-art solutions at no charge. As a nonprofit, we accept voluntary donations, of course, and that is how we support our mission nationally to support churches and ministries. So all of the modules of Meet the Need are a part of our no-cost platform. It says, does my staff or mission trip leaders need to be technically proficient to use Meet the Need? And the answer is not at all. There are no discs or anything to load, very little training required. If they watch a 6-minute dashboard overview video when they register, then everything is there for them to know what to do, to post needs, to read reports, to manage volunteers, and you don't have to be tech savvy to make all of this happen. We do have a lot of video tutorials that are very quick, 3 minutes here, 6 minutes there, and they'll be on their way to be managing their trips. If you want more on international missions or really any part of Meet the Need, I do encourage you to go watch our video tutorials. From your dashboard, if you go to the training button, you go to the frequently asked questions. This is actually a new button that we have. You may not have known that that was there, but if you click frequently asked questions, you can go and search and see by keyword or by different topics that we have, all the questions. I mean, there's hundreds of questions here with answers to the ones that we get asked most frequently. Also on this page is a list of all of our video tutorials for each part of your dashboard. So highly recommend that you go watch some of the videos in the training library. If you still can't find your answer, search for the FAQs, and then of course, we're always here to answer your questions if you need them. We do have other related webinars. I mentioned that we were recording this one for you to watch later, but all of the last 12 months of our webinars are accessible through the Help button on your dashboard. There is a button called Meet the Need Webinars, and all of our webinars are there, and a few of the ones that we have there are on events, case management, missions, city reaching, reporting in general with Meet the Need, keeping an external focus, best practices in using Meet the Need and outreach, and local missions. So all of these topics are there. There's typically an hour webinar for each one of these. Feel free to go watch those and share those and use those as needed to help you dive deeper into any of the features of Meet the Need. And we have more. We have these webinars that happen once a month. We have our blog, we have our website you can always go to with information. We have a blog that we do. We have a monthly newsletter we send out, and we're also active on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, so you can join us on any of those as well. We are your Meet the Need member service team. I'm Tanya Nichols. There's my information, and we're here to help you, so you can contact us at any time. I want to thank you for joining us for the Meet the Need International Missions webinar, and I look forward to seeing you next month for City Reaching Best Practices. Have a blessed day.